Hello, everyone, and I would like to welcome you to our today's webinar. My name is Anna, and I'm the Customer Success Manager at M2E. Our today's webinar will be hosted by M2E in collaboration with eBay UK. In a bit, I will introduce our presenters and we'll talk a little bit about their agenda. So before we start and get going, I will do a bit of housekeeping here and just welcome you to post your questions if you have any throughout the presentation part. There should be a chat section in your webinar app, so please use them to send the questions. We'll get to them by the end during the Q&A session. The webinar is also being recorded, and there will be a link to this video material, which you can get later. And if for some reason you miss a part and you can stay until the end, you are welcome to watch the video and find answers to your questions. Okay, so today we'll be talking about the promoted listings on eBay, and we'll touch on the topics of item visibility on eBay sites. I will now introduce you to our presenters today. The first part of the presentation will be taken by Jonathan Burgess. He from eBay UK, and just a few words about Johnny. He works on the sponsored commerce team within European advertising at eBay, and is in charge of their promoted listings for eBay UK. Johnny has been with eBay for over 10 years now and has worked in a range of advertising, marketing, commerce roles with eBay business sellers. The following part will be covered by my colleague Marina. She's the eBay consultant at M2E, and myself as well. And in the end, we will spend some time answering your questions, and we did receive some of them in advance, so we'll try to allocate some time for those as well. All right, I suggest that we start, and I would like to hand the floor to our first presenter, Jonathan Burgess from eBay UK. Johnny?
Yes, hello. Thank you, Anna. I hope you can all hear me okay. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time out to join this session. Hopefully you'll find it useful. Yeah, I'd suggest we dive in and have a look at eBay's promoted listings service.
Yeah, the screen looks good.
Everything okay, Anna? Yep. Cool. So I'd like to start just by setting a bit of context. And I'm sure you're all familiar with eBay's scale and reach. But just as a reminder, eBay opens up a whole world of selling and growth opportunities. So globally, we have 170 million active buyers worldwide. And globally, we have 1.1 billion live listings on the site. A couple of fun facts about eBay's velocity. A car part is purchased every 2 seconds. and a video game is purchased every 6 seconds. So I think these facts should give you a sense of the scale and reach of eBay globally. But amongst all of this traffic and amongst all of these buyers, how can you get your products added visibility and make your products stand out? So one of the options to get that added visibility is to use our Promote Your Listings advertising service, which is a topic of the first half of this webinar today. So a bit about what is Promoted Listings. It's a self-service advertising tool which we launched in 2015. It's what we call first-party advertising, which is advertising solutions for our seller community. It's part of our ongoing commitment to partner with our sellers and to give you the tools to grow your business. And it's also part of our suite of marketing tools available for you. So essentially, what does Promoted Listings do? It basically displays your selected listings in prominent, exclusive positions across the site. It gives your item incremental visibility, increasing the chances of making a sale. To put this into context, let's have a look at how this might work in an offline retail example and how it might work in a supermarket. Let's say you're a brand selling a product and your product is in a supermarket and it's in its regular place alongside other similar items. It might be in aisle 10 or aisle 20 of a supermarket. Buyers know where to go to find it, and they will navigate their way to find your product on their shopping journey. But I'm sure we've all been in supermarkets and seen promotions on the end of a shopping aisle or by the supermarket shop door, or maybe by the checkout when you're paying for an item. So Promote Your Listings is a bit like the eBay equivalent of these supermarket promotions. It's about getting your item more visibility in additional places and getting your item in front of more buyers, just as you see in a supermarket when you see these promotional places. Now, Promote Your Listings is a paid-for advertising service. You select the price, which we call ad rate, you're willing to pay to promote your selected listings. The ad rate is a percentage of the item's final sale price, which you're happy to pay to promote your listing. Let's have a look at a quick example of how that works. Let's say you sell a mobile phone for £400 through Promote Your Listings. You were comfortable with a 10% ad rate to promote that item in return for the added visibility. So if the item sells, this means that your ad fee would be £40. 10% of the £400 sale price is obviously £40. Now it's important to mention that eBay's final value fee is then added on top. So the ad fee is only applied to the item price. The advertising fee does not take into account postage and packaging either. But crucially, you will only pay this ad fee when you sell an item. And we'll have a look at this in a bit more depth in a few minutes. So for now, let's have a look at where your listings can be promoted. This first screenshot is showing our top placement on a search results page. Promoted Listings is a great way to get your item appearing higher up in eBay search results, where buyers are more likely to notice and click on your item. Now, it's also worth mentioning that when we show promoted listings across the site, we actually mark them as sponsored. So when you do see an eBay listing marked as sponsored, this means that it's being advertised through Promoted Listings. So keep an eye out for these positions and for these listings when you see them across the site. Now, we do also show promoted listings further down in the search results page. It's important to get to the top of search but we do know that some buyers will scroll down a page as they are shopping for their items. Now, normally, you don't want your items to appear further down a page, but promoted listings does give you the opportunity to appear in front of buyers who scroll down a page without harming your regular search positions. It's important to understand that promoted listings is not just about appearing higher in search. Even if your items do appear at the top of a best match search query, you can still benefit from the advertising service. This screenshot is showing prominent advertising positions through promoted listings on a view item page. On a similar note, this screenshot is showing how we feature promoted listings on one of our browse pages. In this instance, this is a dedicated module for promoted listings, so the only way your items can appear in this position is through the advertising service. So hopefully this shows how promoted listings can give you visibility across the whole of the shopping journey. We do have approximately 50 individual placements across the site, and this covers desktop, the eBay app, and mobile web experiences. These 50 placements cover at least 8 different page types, so further visibility is available in places such as a buyer's My eBay account pages, where your listing wouldn't normally show up. And finally, we're always looking for more places to show promoted listings, and soon your items might be featured on the main eBay homepage, hitting buyers as they walk through the shop door. So we've looked at how the tool works and where we promote your items. Let's have a quick look at who can use promoted listings. So currently, promoted listings is available to eBay shop subscribers. So this does mean you need an anchor, featured, or basic store to make the most of the product. Featured shop subscribers also get £10 monthly credit, which they can use on promoted listings, and anchor shop subscribers have £20 monthly credit. So if you do have a featured or anchor store and you're not using that monthly credit, we'd really encourage you to look into that. And let's also have a quick look at what inventory you can promote as well. So when you do go to create a campaign, we will show you all of the listings which are eligible to be promoted, but I'll give a quick overview here. Promoted listings is available for fixed price inventory, and it's available in nearly every category. This includes all of the major categories such as fashion, home and garden, and all of the major tech categories. It's also available for multi-quantity and single quantity listings. And towards the end of 2017, we expanded promoted listings across the vehicle parts and accessories category, whereas previously this wasn't always available. So we've had a quick look at how the tool works and seen who can use promoted listings. I'd just like to take the next few minutes explaining why we think it's a great tool for you to grow your sales. So this is a famous quote which is often mentioned in presentations and conferences about marketing and advertising. I don't know exactly who said it, but someone said, "Half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half." I think the point behind the quote is that with a lot of advertising, you don't know exactly what you're paying for, or you might not have a complete idea of performance or a complete idea of your return on investment. Now, this is certainly not the case with promoted listings. Our service is low risk, giving you clear attribution and full transparency on your marketing spend. And crucially, as we've seen, this is because you only pay when you sell an item. We only charge the ad fee if a buyer clicks on your promoted listing and goes on to purchase that item within 30 days. Now, this is really quite different from a lot of similar advertising programs. On some other platforms, you might pay a fixed fee to show your advert, or you might pay for a click on your advert. Now, the trouble here is that you don't have a guarantee on performance or conversion. So you might be paying for advertising which doesn't actually convert into sales. As we've just seen, this is not the case with promoted listings, where you only pay for performance. This does mean that there's a nice little benefit to promoted listings. If a buyer does click on your advert and doesn't purchase that item within 30 days, it's essentially free traffic to your store. So there are also some long-term benefits to promoted listings as well, and it's not only about making short-term sales. Promoted listings can have a long-term positive impact on your eBay sales. And this is because conversions from promoted listings count towards an item's organic sales history. If you increase your sales through promoted listings and deliver a great buyer experience, then those sales and those seller ratings count positively towards your item's organic performance. So lastly, on benefits, we recently talked to a big UK seller called Party Avenue. Party Avenue sell fancy dress and party supplies, so Halloween is like Christmas for them and one of their peak trading periods. Throughout September, October and November last year, they used promoted listings heavily, and over that period they saw a 35-to-1 return on ad spend. So this means for every £1 they spent, they made £35 in sales, which I'm sure you'll agree is pretty compelling. We also looked at the traffic from the advertising. Promoted listings delivered 28% more traffic to their store on top of their organic traffic. And lastly, Party Avenue gave us some feedback on the tool and explained that what they really like about promoted listings is how they can integrate it into their day-to-day activity and how there's no significant upfront investment compared to riskier forms of advertising. So let's have a quick look at how to use a service. It's a flexible tool and you're in control at all times. It only takes a few minutes to set up a campaign or to optimize a campaign, and you can monitor results in real time. Now, we do have a promoted listings video, and this is hosted on YouTube. This will show you how to set up a campaign in a short 90-second video. This is hosted on our official eBay for Business YouTube channel, so make sure to find the channel and subscribe. The channel also has a range of other videos on a wide variety of topics to help you manage your business. So promoted listings does not have its own dashboard. Promoted listings does have its own campaign management dashboard, and it's not quite integrated into Seller Hub. The easiest way to find the dashboard is through the marketing tab on Seller Hub. Once you've followed that link, you'll be taken to the campaign management dashboard, and this is the main screen of the dashboard if you're running activity. In terms of launching a new campaign, we do provide two options for creating a campaign. You can select your listings individually, or you can use a bulk upload functionality to create a campaign with a significant amount of listings. For now, I'm going to spend the next couple of minutes showing you how to create a campaign by selecting the listings individually. So the first step is to select your listings. Again, on this screen, you'll see all of the inventory which you're eligible to promote. You can search for your listings using keyword or item number, or you can filter using the filters on the left-hand side. The next step is setting your ad rate. You can apply an ad rate across the whole of a campaign, across all listings, or set a different ad rate for each listing depending on your pricing strategy. Now remember that you're in control at all times, so you can optimize and change your ad rate during a campaign. The final step is giving your campaign a name and setting your campaign dates. You might want your campaign to run for one weekend, or you might want your campaign to run for 1 month. But keep in mind, you can also set up a campaign as continuous, and this means it won't have an end date. This will give you constant visibility and an always-on advertising presence. If you're comfortable with the listings you want to promote, and if you're comfortable with the ad rate you're willing to pay to promote them, then continuous campaigns are a great way to manage your activity and have always-on advertising. The final step of launching a campaign is agreeing to the terms and conditions and then simply clicking to launch your campaign. So, once your campaign is live, the dashboard also provides reporting on your activity, and we really encourage you to keep a close eye on your advertising campaigns. There are 2 options for reporting. We recently launched Sales Report in the dashboard, and this shows your sales and your ad spend across all of your campaigns for a customized period of time. The dashboard also supports campaign level reporting, where you can view and download a report for an individual campaign. So if you are promoting new items or experimenting with your ad rates, or if you're an experienced user of the tool, we really recommend keeping a close eye on your own reporting and analysing your activity. There are 2 features within promoted listings that I'd really encourage you to look at. The first is called Item Recommendation, which is a feature we launched earlier this year. When you go to set up a campaign, you might see some items marked as recommended. These are listings that eBay has identified as benefiting the most from the increased visibility that promoted listings provides. And we suggest promoting these items first over your other listings. We base our recommendations on trends in the marketplace, the current competitive situation of your items, and we also take into account the historical performance of each item. Now, this does not stop you promoting other items which aren't recommended. Given the low-risk nature of promoted listings, we do encourage you to experiment with promoting whatever inventory fits your strategy. But we would encourage you to check out the promoted listings, as we've identified these as having potential. The second feature within the dashboard is ad rate guidance. When setting your ad rate, we show the trending ad rate for the items category. This trending ad rate is the price other sellers are willing to pay to promote their items. To get the most out of the service, it's important that you do set competitive ad rates wherever possible, and we would encourage you to experiment with your ad rates. We would try and encourage you to find the sweet spot where you get additional sales at a cost that works for your business. Some sellers start with a high ad rate and gradually reduce it, or start with a low ad rate and gradually increase. But we find these are the sellers who experiment and make the most of the tool who find the most success on promoted listings. So just to wrap up, a few more tips for managing your activity if you're new to promoted listings or if you're using it already. The first thing to say is that it's always really important to make sure your listings are optimized before promoting them. Essentially, we'd encourage you to promote a good quality, high converting item. And what I mean by making sure your listings are optimized is, do you have the right keywords in the title? Do you have enough photos? Is your price compelling? And generally, is your listing attractive? As I've said, we encourage you to review your ad rate and be competitive, as that's when you'll find the most success with the advertising service. We'd encourage you to always be on the lookout for more opportunities to create more campaigns. And as I mentioned, download your campaign reports, and analyze your activity to look for more opportunities. So lastly, a little bit of a look at how we've seen sellers use the service and when you might want to think about using it. As I mentioned, the first use case would be to boost best-selling inventory. If you have really well-selling items, then promoted listings is a perfect time to boost those even further, because it can give you more visibility and get your listing in front of more active buyers. The second scenario might be seasonal events. So coming up to Christmas or Black Friday, that would be a sensible time to invest in promoted listings. But think about your products and your strategy in the time of year and when additional advertising might suit you. New inventory is a great time to use promoted listings as well. If you're trying to build up a new item's sales history, then promoted listings can help you achieve that by giving that item a boost and getting that flywheel and sales velocity going earlier. You can also combine promoted listings with our other marketing tools, such as Promotions Manager. So if you've invested in a promotion or a sale, you might also want to increase visibility for those items and use promoted listings. And lastly, as we looked at, we see some sellers determining an ad rate that works for them and leaving their campaign always running, but upweighting at seasonal moments or in line with their sales strategy. So with that concludes my half of the webinar. So thank you for listening. I'm passing it back to Marina and Anna now, but I will be available at the end of the webinar for some questions. So again, thanks for listening. Wish you all the best success with promoted listings and hope you find the tool works for you.
Thank you, Johnny. Thanks a lot. That was quite a bit of information, and I believe it was a lot of new facts for some or maybe all of the sellers attending the webinar. I did learn a lot myself. I will take it up from here and introduce you to a little bit more information about M2E and the benefits you can have when selling on eBay with the solution. So what are we going to be looking at today? Just a few points which we will be covering. We will shortly talk about what M2E is in a few words. We'll look at categories, at such things as photos of your items, what description is and how much it matters, and of course what influences and what has impact on your eBay search results. All right, so from here I will start with a little bit of background about M2E, and we'll keep it short. Basically what we are, or what product we offer, is a Magento-based multi-channel integration. We started off over 10 years ago as a Magento to eBay integration, and now evolved into a multi-channel solution. You can actually see that our company name stands for M2E, Magento to eBay. So that's where we're heading from. You might think of M2E as a simply data processing layer on top of your Magento. And Magento is used as a backend or a back office, you can call it this way, where all the data is stored. While M2E picks it up from there and synchronizes directly to the channels. So in a few simple words, it's very convenient when you have only one data entry and management point, which is your Magenta backend, from which the data is simultaneously synchronized to multiple selling channels. It's worth mentioning here as well that if you are already an eBay seller and you already have your live listings on the channel with the selling history and orders history, there is no need to stop your items to start managing them with M2E. You can just simply get them imported into the extension and then linked to your Magento products. Automatic order import, of course, is an integral part of the software. So why M2E when selling on eBay sites? We believe there are a few principal criteria which at all times should be considered when selling on eBay. And M2E allows you working with all of these aspects in a very flexible and efficient way. So we'll start with the product categorization. As cliche as it may sound right now, but it's critically, we believe, important to have the product placed in the correct category on eBay. As you know from your experience, probably, eBay offers quite a diverse tree of categories, and it's definitely worth, that's I learned from my experience, worth doing some homework to determine which categories will suit your offers the best. And of course, having offers placed in the right place means that these products will have the right audience. Right now, how can M2E help you to set it up and get the right category selected for the product that you want to sell on eBay? On this screen right now, it's just the example of what the product looks like when it's synchronized by M2E. So you can see that when you sell items and manage them through M2E, you definitely know what category it's placed in. Their path, their name of the category, the ID. If you do know the correct IDs of your eBay categories, it can be a part of your Magenta backend data, and M2E Pro will be taking data from there. So you can simply tell where their ID of an eBay category is stored, and M2E Pro will synchronize it from there directly to the channel. Otherwise, you can, as well from the screenshot on their page, you can see that it can be searched, it can be browsed in the way which you find convenient for you. At any time, if you need to change any of their settings, let's say you want to update the item specifics for this category, or you want to update the path, you know that the product must be a part of a different category. You can do it at any time by just simply changing their category and saving it. It's available as for one single product in the whole list of your eBay items, or for the groups of items which you filter out based on the criteria that you choose. So by simply going and changing one thing, you will have all of the changes applied to multiple items on your eBay account. Right, so it's just one of the ways where you can edit the category settings. you're flexible here, but you know that you do not want to go and filter out your products. You do not want to go and group them just because you have so many of them. But you know that some of the settings of a particular category must be updated. You do always have access to the categories themselves in their configuration section. So just simply go into their section of categories in use, you select the category and you edit it. So by editing something inside the category settings, let's say you decided to add up a custom item specific and saving the change, all of this will be automatically sent to eBay and updated for your items. So in a few words, I just described, or I tried to describe, the importance of having the right product placed in the right category and knowing that M2E creates the conditions which make this process convenient for you. Though having the right category selected is just one of the things which matters when you are working with the product visibility on eBay. And I think I will invite Marina, my colleague, to take it up from here and tell you a little bit more about more aspects which can also help you increase the visibility.
Hi everyone, and thank you for introducing and inviting me. Okay, let's start. So hi again, thank you for introducing and inviting me to speak here today. Yes, so setting up the correct eBay primary category is extremely important, but that's not the only thing that will affect your item visibility. There are a few more aspects that are also important, and I'm going to tell you about them. In order to give you more freedom and save your time, M2E Pro uses the so-called policy-based approach. This means that all the configurations are united in the specific sets called policies. All the settings that help you make your item description attractive and increase its visibility can be found in description policy. But what are the main parameters your item visibility depends on? Actually, there are three of them: custom description, images, product identifiers. Now we're going to discuss them in details. First of all, always remember that buyers usually do not have enough information about items for sale. This is inevitable to provide them with plenty of useful information. In this way, you will attract more buyers. Selling on eBay with M2E Pro gives you flexibility. You're always welcome to choose the item description among several options. For example, you can select the description from your Magento product. But if you want to provide the same description for several items, use the option Custom Value. As you see here, you can insert HTML description and more details about your Magento product. These settings are grouped together, so you will add item description fast and easy. Now let's move on. The only thing between eBay sellers and buyers is a computer screen. Buyers are not able to touch, smell, examine items for sale. That is why they must rely on photos to accurately imagine the items before making a purchase. Since eBay is a visual platform, sellers need to take necessary steps to represent their items accurately and completely. Uploading a lot of high-quality photos for eBay can make a huge difference in sales. But what are the main requirements for images on eBay? Let's see. For example, photos must have high resolution to look attractive on the screens. Researchers claim that listings with better photo quality are more than 5% likely to sell. That is why the meaning of high-quality images cannot be underestimated. Here you can see two items with completely different images. There is significant difference in image quality, and you can probably say that the second item is more likely to be sold. It has clear background, the picture is big enough, the resolution is good, so the item is shown as its best. Using M2E Pro, you can easily configure the settings for images. So now I'm in the description policy again, and here is the block images. This is the place where all the settings for listing images are stored. Let's examine it more closely. As you know, each item listed on eBay should have an image. Main image for your item can be taken from your Magento product. Providing your buyers with as many details as possible will definitely increase the chances for your item to be bought and boost the sales. That is why you are absolutely free to upload up to 11 more gallery images to swap. Moreover, if you sell variational items, you are free to download more images, so these are up to 12 for each variation, and change images based on the variational theme. So images is one of the aspects that attracts your buyers' attention and keeps them on your item page. However, are product description and images the only thing that affect eBay listing visibility? Not really. So now it's officially required to provide product identifiers for simple and variational products in certain eBay categories. You know that search engines use special algorithms to help identify and display relevant product matches during online search sessions. Product identifiers help buyers find your items more easily, both on eBay and in search engines, even when the buyer does not specifically use them during the search. Listings that include an item's brand, MPN, GTINs are given greater visibility in eBay search results and navigation. Also, sellers can have priority placement in eBay deals, bargains, and other promotions. And also, you can have more accurate pricing guidance to help make the listings more competitive. You can easily provide the needed identifier values for both multivariational and simple products on eBay via M2E Pro. As you can see, product identifiers can be provided in the description policy settings in the eBay catalog identifiers block. All you need to do is just to specify the source where this information will be taken from. This can be your Magento product or the custom value. But if you are missing sub-identifiers or do not need them, you can just mark them as does not apply. So that's pretty easy, and I'm sure that setting up eBay catalog identifiers will definitely help you to increase your item visibility. So I think I'll be finishing rounding up here. Thank you for your attention. Anna?
Thanks. Thank you, Marina. My right hand there, and always organized. Yeah, that was, I believe, quite a short walking through what important to eBay information can be configured, saved, edited with their M2E solution. And it's just a small part of a big system which has been developed for 10 years now. And we are proudly listening to our users, their feedback to get and improve the details based on their needs on the channel and their personal business needs. So yeah, I believe it was quite short and but accurate, hopefully. If you do have more questions, you're welcome to post them now. And if we do not have enough time to run through all of them at this time, the session of questions and answers, you are welcome to email us, I think at M2E and Jonathan as well, to post more questions if you have the interest. So we'll spend some time right now looking through the questions, and I will be answering here questions about M2E, and we'll be inviting Jonathan to participate with us as well. So the first one, I believe I will direct it to Johnny. Johnny, it's to you. Could you please explain what the criteria eBay uses when recommending a listing be promoted?
Sure. Yeah, thanks, Anna. That's a great question. So thank you to whoever submitted it. Yeah, so we worked really hard to develop item recommendation within the dashboard. I touched on it briefly within my presentation, but we look at a number of things. We incorporate the trends we see in the marketplace. So, you know, the normal trends we'd see from people buying and searching on the site. We also look at the historical performance of the item, which we're recommending. And then we look at the competitive situation of other items within that category. So we do blend those three things together. There are some other elements which are also incorporated, but they are the big ones and the big things that we look at when we recommend items. So it's essentially about finding those items with the highest potential to perform well on promoted listings, and making sure we give you some guidance. I imagine some of you have thousands and thousands of listings and might not know where to start with promoted listings. So using those factors and building in that data, we provide those recommendations.
Thank you. The next question, I believe I will answer to it myself. The question is, can my eBay items have different from my store information? It's quite a general one, but I believe it has to do with the custom information on eBay, I will call it this way. And of course, yes, this is something which we encourage in many places our users to do, to not stick to your Magento store details if you want to offer a more attractive product, let's say on eBay or different selling channels. You almost in all M2E configuration and in all settings fields, you have a choice to specify whether their value should be coming from Magento, if it should be coming from a custom Magento attribute, which you create, for example, specifically for eBay, or it's a custom value. So you are free to choose which value M2E Pro will synchronize. And you do not have to be restricted to a particular store information which you are using for the items in your online store. All right, well, then move on to the following one. I believe, Jonathan, it's to you. How do I get eBay sponsored ads to show my listings?
Sure. Great question again. Thanks, Anna. So hopefully the webinar showed how you can set up a campaign. I think the first thing to say is if you want to appear in sponsored listings, you obviously need to have a shop subscription. So make sure you have a basic featured or anchor store because only those sellers can use it. After that, the way to win visibility within promoted listings is essentially we look at two things. We look at the ad rate you're willing to pay, and the higher your ad rate, the more your chances of success and winning visibility are. But we also look at the performance of the item and the quality of the item. So we combine those two things when determining which listings to show as promoted listings. So it's important that you focus on promoting good quality, popular items, which you know are selling well, but also that you're competitive with your ad rate. So when we do show you that data about trending ad rates, let's say you're listing an item and we say the trending ad rate is 9%, it's important that you bid and you set your ad rate at a similar level or above that trending ad rate in order to win visibility for your campaign. So if you get those two things right, then that should mean your listing shows up as the sponsored listings, and you should start to see the clicks and the traffic and the increased sales from promoted listings.
Okay. I was actually interested in the answer myself. Thanks for that. We have quite a few questions here. So the next one, Jonathan, I will ask you to answer this as well. How will sponsored promoted listings be affected by the new PLP buy box style page? Interesting one.
Sure. Yeah, that's a really good question as well. So I'm sure you've heard about eBay's approach with regards to product-based commerce. The answer at the moment is that I can't reveal those details yet. What I can say is that we are working on it. So we will make sure that sellers keep up the same visibility. They have the same opportunity to get more visibility and to keep on advertising their products. I can reassure you that it's something we're looking at very closely, and there is work going on behind the scenes. When we are ready to share that, and once we're happy with our solution and the offering, we'll obviously publish that information and pass it on to our partners like M2E. So for that one, please stay tuned for some more information to follow.
Okay, gotcha. All right, we have another interesting question. We actually get asked about it quite frequently, so I'll ask my colleague to help me here. The question says, if we start using M2E and then later decide not to, I believe you will not want to stop using that. But what happens to eBay listings, and are they removed or remain on the channel?
Thank you for your question. That's an interesting one. Yeah, so if you list your items on eBay and for some reasons don't use M2E, your eBay listings will remain on the channel, so they will be listed on eBay.
Yeah, exactly. So by stopping using the extension, it does not remove your sales from the channel. You can go on selling them. And I will cover one more question here. Will the item stop and released, or if the item stops in released, will it affect the visibility of an item? Yes, it will. I think for just from the overall experience, it's not worth stopping the product completely. Even if it's out of stock temporarily, you can't offer it for sale. In M2E, we do have a workaround for that, or a special tool, which we call the out of stock control. And what it does is actually temporarily hides your item from sale, but it does not stop it completely or remove it from eBay. So as soon as the item is back in stock and M2E is informed about that, the item is automatically updated on the channel and is offered for sale again. So their selling history stays with the product, their reviews stay with the product, and so on. You don't lose anything, and the visibility is not affected either. We do have a few left, but we've getting close to the end of our time, and I'll be finishing here, and would like to welcome you to send your questions to us. Email us at our support M2E Pro team, and post questions to Jonathan as well. We will be happy to answer them. It was a pleasure working with you, Marina and Jonathan, today, and I hope the people who came to listen to us learned at least something new and will consider it for their future selling experience. So thanks again, and I hope to have you around with our next webinar. And please remember about the video recording. It should also be available after the webinar. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.